Okay, so could you follow up with that a little bit about how that gets funded? Who does that funding? Where is it? Do you know where it comes from?
Yeah, well, they've just had a major injection of funding from the UK Film Council, and obviously that comes with its own targets and everything. But the festival have always prided themselves that the whole festival is educational. So from that very audience getting to participate with an interview, Q&A, question and answer sessions with directors and talent, right through to the very specific education. That's what I do, the very specific education remit for schools and universities. So I think the whole festival is educational in some way to greater and lesser degrees. But yes, with the funding, and it's the same as Filmhouse, we get funded to provide educational programmes. But there's a lot of kind of public sponsors as well. We've got a lot of the festival is corporate sponsorship and other kind of film like Scottish Screen, other kind of film bodies as well.
And the Edinburgh City Council as well.
And some of these sponsor separate programming within the festival itself. For they may sponsor an event, a delegate event. For example, so that filmmakers have an opportunity and they would sponsor the speakers travel or filmmakers travel or things of that sort.
There's actually sponsors, not just from this country as well. We get funding from all over the world to fly filmmakers here from Israel or Australia or all over the world. There are sort of national cultural organisations who help with that as well. So.
But the corporate funders, they will have their very own areas that they want to specifically target. For example, the Royal Bank of Scotland were very keen to sponsor the school side of things because they wanted to get to 16-year-olds who were just about to think about opening up bank accounts and all of that. So this was a direct way for them to get in a kind of user-friendly type manner through the medium of film and come along and speak to them. So they've got their own things going on to interest.
One thing that I find interesting is every time I've ever come in here during lunchtime, whether it was during the festival or not, this space is packed. I know not all of these people are going to films that has become sort of a lunch center and a place to. How'd that all come about? Is it because you have such good food, or is it?
I guess it's a combination of food, and there's a lot of new office buildings just being built around here actually, and it's kind of a place that you can come and get something, that's good and reasonably priced, and it's just, I guess, a nicer, pleasant place to come as well. We get a lot of. It's really nice. We get a lot of women coming here by themselves and just sitting at a table with a book and maybe a glass of wine, which is really. Really nice. It's not an intimidating place to come.
Yeah, we did a bit of audience research about that, and that was one of the positives, that women are very comfortable and feel safe here. So it's just, there's a feeling of safeness, and there's always, a friendly face around. So it's kind of developed over years.
How much profit does this bring?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not just that, but what percentage, or does it help the maintenance aspect of the building, or maintaining
Filmhouse?
To an extent, actually, not actually as much as it used to. I think just because the cinema side of things is actually doing pretty well by itself. They're actually separate companies, but only kind of in name really, because Filmhouse, the cinema side of things, is a registered charity. We can't then have a bar as part of it, so it had to be a separate company. And there's traditionally the bar has kind of pumped money into the cinema when it's needed it, but the cinema's actually doing just fine. So the bar.
So they operate separately.
Yeah, they're separate companies, but we all work together.
Because I see people after movies gathering for drinks and cocktails or beforehand.
And it's great to have somewhere, because a lot of the films we show, especially, people want to sit and have a discussion about the film afterwards.
Why should they go somewhere else? In other words, some places it would be a kind of rental relationship or a contract relationship. That the Filmhouse itself is a real estate entity that belongs to a non-profit, and it makes a contract with the bar to provide a service, and they get the space. Okay, that's the way that works.
And also, we actually hire out the cinemas in the morning when it's our downtime. We hire out the cinemas to corporate bodies who want to run conferences and things like that. So that
other charities who want to have presentations and things. We can run presentations.
Do you have any meeting space in this building besides, like room or something like that, besides the bar, cafe, or the cinema space itself?
Well, I'll let you see it.
Okay.
It's kind of in between use at the moment.
It gets taken over by the film festival over their period because they take over everywhere and they have like porta cabin offices out at the back lane and stuff as well. But there is a space generally which is used for meetings and stuff as well, and that's smaller.
As a part of a cinema reference?
No, it's known as the Guild Room because the Edinburgh Film Guild who began all this actually are still running. And they have screenings twice a week for their members, and they have a tiny, like 30-seat cinema. It's not one of our public cinemas, it's in another part of the building, and they have what's known as the Guild Rooms, which is just like a meeting and reception room that we can use during the week when they're not.
Box office wise, which films are the best in the festival?
I don't know, probably the opening film, I think. Yeah, I think probably the opening film because the opening film traditionally does well because people want to be there on the opening night of the festival. There's an air of excitement, and particularly because the stars were coming.
And right.
And of course, Wally did great.
Overall, it did very well. Actually, there was a lot of sellouts, and yeah, box office was up on last year.
Do you know what the total attendance was, approximately?
Sorry?
Total attendance for a festival, approximately?
I think they're still in the process of working all
tabulating.
the marketing team for the festival are kind of processing all the reports and all the statistics, because they then, again, as part of funding agreements and just for kind of general stakeholders, they will produce an annual report that will come out in the next couple of months. So that's we don't really have access to those figures and things like that.
Guys, questions?
Well, I was going to ask, as far as the feedback that you've gotten so far, has there been any big complaints about things this year, like certain types of films that weren't shown, or screenings that didn't go well, or anything like that?
I can't think of anything actually. Yeah. I think also, I mean, the technical side of things, I mean, Filmhouse, we run all sorts of formats and things all year, so, you know, our projection team is really, you know, up on all the technology. And I think just the fact that the film festival has run every year, and the other cinemas that get involved as well, they kind of up their game a bit during the festival, so everybody's really effective. There's a head of screenings from the film festival, this guy James Rice, who's like just really on the ball. And,
Here he is.
Oh God, speak of the devil.
The devil runs away.
But he's incredibly thorough in terms of making sure that all the films are screened in as well as they can possibly be.
Did you hear any one particular film that you just loved overall, or was it just a combination of various ones? Or
Well, the award,
the audience award is always a really good kind of indicator of these things, and it was won by the documentary Man on Wire, which is it's a really lovely film actually. I've seen it. It's about the guy who wire walked between the Twin Towers, World Trade Center in like 1976 or something like that. It's a documentary about that, and it's a really lovely film, really kind of enjoyable. And it's interesting actually, the documentaries didn't ever used to be in the audience award, because the audience award was only for the gala screenings and the British screenings. And last year I sort of suggested maybe some of the documentaries could be included, ones that were particular audience type documentaries. And in the 2 years that they've been included in that, they've won both of those.
But in terms of, just to add to the point about complaining, I think when our audiences come and they become festival attenders, then there's not this nature of complaining really. I think because the programme is so diverse that if somebody doesn't enjoy a film, it's purely down to personal taste rather than, Jenny made the point earlier that audiences become, because the festival's sexy, the audiences become more risk-taking. So if you don't like something, it's a personal choice rather than people writing and complaining.
And I think that they're always really